Welcome, Geeks Worldwide. This is your host, Rico, the Sheik of Geek from Geek Warz, giving you a live, audible, rare version of Geek Warz. Just wanted to come out today in 2020. It's still January, so I wanted to sneak in here and give you kind of a state of the Geek Warz address, if you will. See if you guys are interested. Hang on with me for a little bit. Just let me go through a couple things with you and just say this is what's going on with me and just generally what the stuff I put on Geek Warz. If you're not familiar with Geek Warz, you probably know you can go onto Facebook and check out the Geek Warz page. That's Geek W-A-R-Z, like zebra, but even though we don't have zebras, but we could. I'm sure there's memes I can come up with, right? So you guys know what I'm talking about out there. Just want to come out here and put a little response to my boys, the Voices of 717 podcast. So real quick, shout out to Mick Boppy out there and his Gamers Plaza, soon to be Entertainment Plaza on YouTube. So get on that, change it up. Let me know what's on with that. Platano Locaso over there, always doing all the hosting and all the usual high resolution, high quality stuff. Sorry, this is going to be low res, Dennis. It's going to be a wrap. And of course, Make a Wish. Ricky, you know what's going on. That's my dude when it comes to low res and keeping it raw and keeping it funky. I guess he's my problem child there. But anyway, Voices of 717. Don't forget, I give you guys shout outs because, of course, I'm usually over there helping you guys out when I get a chance. But listen to their stuff as well when I post it on Geek Warz and give some love. But again, unfortunately with this, just because it's just me, I'm just going to say, unfortunately, we're not going to have any kind of segment like Ricky's tax segment, how to get away with claiming 30 kids. And I probably won't be referring myself to too much as being a fat hippo. Sorry, Dennis. Even though I could probably lose a couple pounds, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more lovely to myself, at least for the purpose of this audio broadcast. So really, going back to the purpose of what I'm doing here, it's just really a response, because something the other guys did, which I unfortunately wasn't able to make it to that one, just talking about, what we've been up to and what we have going on for the upcoming year, what things we want to work on and things of that nature. So I'm going to try, like I always say, my disclaimer is I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, succinct, but I make no guarantees, because once I go on a tangent, you know how your Sheik of Geek goes and you know how he rolls, right? So first off, let's just tackle the very basic, obvious thing here. I know a lot of times it gets a little sporadic as far as what I post on Geek Warz, whether it be memes, whether it be information, newscasts about your favorite sci-fi, comics, games, things like that. Well, you know what? There's this thing called the real world where people got to work. And this past year, towards the end of the year, I ended up getting a new job, right? So what happens with that is, unfortunately, like the guys from 717, Voices of 717 podcast know, rather, it makes it a little difficult to plan around things, especially when you're working different shifts. So, hashtag first world problems, right? The price of making money, because unfortunately, I'm not an 8-year-old YouTuber making $26 million a year. Did you guys hear about that, by the way? If not, Google that, because damn, if I can figure out a way to make that happen, you'll have a much happier Sheik. And actually, it'll probably be more apropos. I would call myself a Sheik. I probably has as much money as a Sheik doing that shit. Damn. But anyway, I was really just saying all that just to make sure you guys understand that, hey, there's real world situations going on. So I appreciate all your guys' support on Geek Warz. Thank you for being patient. Even though there's a couple of lulls of information, there's a couple guys that actually do help out contributing. So like I always tell you guys all the time, and you probably don't really think I appreciate this, but I really, really, really appreciate anyone who contributes information and posts and things of that nature. Geek Warz, even posting the occasional meme is just hilarious as hell. So I appreciate that stuff. But let's tackle a couple real quick issues so I can get out of here and let you get back to what you're doing. If you haven't done so already, pop a cold drink, start cleaning or something, play me in the background, annoy your significant other. So do whatever you got to do. This will probably take a few minutes. I'm going to just breeze right through this, a couple of topics here. First of all, you can't have a page that says Geek Warz, right, without talking, in my opinion, things like comics, right? As you probably know, being an adult, it gets hard to keep up with this. I'm kind of just coming to the grips that I'm probably never going to be really 100% caught up. By my estimates, I'm probably, I don't know, 6 months behind on comics right now. Somebody on another one, I believe it was Geek Easy. That's another group of guys who are really good, doing good stuff on their podcast every week. So shout outs to the Geek Easy. Somebody once mentioned, I don't even understand how you have the budget for all the comics you post reviews on and stuff like that. Well, honestly, me neither. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of overtime, a lot of time just to read and just figure out what I want to do. So my goal is, again, as always, is try to at least keep within reason this year of comics. If not posting just the basic news of what's coming up, what's happening, a couple comics that I've been reading lately, just say, hey, this was what I liked about it, this is what I don't like about it. Even though I'm a geek, yeah, I'm a little critical about certain comics these days, especially when you have to pay money for that. So, as you can imagine, that's one of those things that I get into and involved. So, obviously the comics, right? One big thing that happened, and again, it kind of ties back to that new job thing and me working crazy hours and doing all this. You have some discretionary funds once in a while. Hey, I finally upgraded from my PS3 to a PS4. Go figure. 1 year before the PS5 comes out. So yes, I actually did upgrade, and the guys over at Voices of 717, they're probably proud of me like crazy people because they're way ahead on me on games. So I became a PS4 owner, so I've been just plowing through games, right? So you probably wonder, who cares? It's games, and you should be. And by the way, you're probably an adult, who cares? But I'm gonna say it anyway. You're not a true geek if you don't enjoy some level of gaming. In my case, I pick a few games, I plowed through them, but some games are just amazing. God of War, that had me in fits for like a couple weeks going through that. Beautifully rendered, amazing game. Uncharted 4, I still can't get over that. Basically, it was a male version of Tomb Raider, but with, I don't know, better acting, probably, in the cutscenes. So, yeah, Uncharted 4. Spider-Man, I just finished that game, so me being obviously a geek, I had to get that one. I was saving that because that took up a couple of weeks of my time as well. Currently, and you guys, by the way, if you guys, I don't know if you're looking for recommendations, you care, but I also just started playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I just basically saved it up till right now because I knew it was going to take over my life. Literally, I started it about a week ago. I took a couple days off the detox, so to speak, because it was just drawing me in again. Probably going to start it again tonight. But I took a couple days off just to kind of reset myself and just get away for a minute and catch up on other things like the comics that I was talking about. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 so far pretty beautifully rendered as well. I love the original one as well on PS3. I played that a couple times. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this year to doing more information when it comes to video games in general. You'd probably see me post on Geek Warz a little bit more in general about the video game industry, particularly when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and the upcoming Xbox, what's that edition, 10? Whatever, version 10, whatever they call it. Used to be called Scarlet, but they changed that up. I'm sure a lot of things going to be changing between now and the holiday season, which is mid-November, when they're going to actually start premiering both of those consoles. But, of course, everything's up to change when it comes to technology, right? But I just thought I mentioned me upgrading that because, of course, it's very rare I upgrade, so I just decided to be hood rich and took it on from there. Moving on from there, what I usually talk about? I usually talk about things like, and you're probably going to groan, some of you, because you probably don't care, but professional wrestling. I've been a fan since I was a kid. I mean, way back in the day, back in the day. Yeah, I used to be that little kid who used to watch wrestling all the time, and I even, for a while there, collected like the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Used to read everything about all my favorite wrestlers. But the cool thing about it right now is that at the end of the year, the last quarter of the year, I should say, there's been a big increase in competition for the always ever-present WWE Empire. So Vince McMahon has had to sit there and say, okay, I got to actually pay attention now, even though I've got 3 shows on the networks. There's another company, Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA, that actually has been doing a lot better work over the past year. They've had a little sketchy past there. A lot of people don't really dig them for what they did a couple years ago for a lot of the product, but now it's been amazingly upgraded. But also, aside from that, a totally different company, AEW, has emerged, basically led by the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. They went out and did spend a whole hell of a lot of money, led by the Jaguars owner from the NFL, Tony Khan. So their bankroll, they got money, they got a big basically deal from TNT. So now what used to be back in the day, the Monday Night Wars, if you're familiar with wrestling, when there was WCW versus WWE on Monday nights, now it's become the Wednesday Night Wars. So basically what happens here is, in my opinion, two of the best shows, I say, if not the two best shows. The WWE's NXT, which basically was, up until now, used to be their developmental show where new people got to basically develop, and as the word implies, obviously, but also they got a chance to learn about things, how to do their promos and things of that nature, and they would basically be quote unquote promoted to either WWE's Monday Night Raw or SmackDown shows. Now they've actually, because they're under the direction of Triple H, who's the COO there, if you don't know the history, basically now they're practically basically their own little brand there. So now they are going head-to-head on Wednesday with AEW show Dynamite. So right there, if you have any inkling about wrestling, if you kind of want to just compare them, you can actually take a look at that every Wednesday night specifically. But basically every night except for Thursday, I believe, we have a show. So Monday night you have Raw from WWE. Tuesday nights you have Impact Wrestling on TV. Wednesday night you have both WWE NXT and also AEW Dynamite. Thursdays is really not anything on TV, but Friday night then you have SmackDown, so from WWE. So even though it's dominated as far as the TV airwaves go with wrestling, there's a whole lot more options, which I think a lot of people are interested in. On a smaller scale, Ring of Honor is there. NWA is doing things as well. Not the rap group, I'm talking about National Wrestling Alliance. So yeah, Ice Cube's not involved. So as far as that's concerned, a lot of things going on in the wrestling industry. I just thought I'd put that out there as well. So as far as that's concerned, that's kind of the main categories, I guess, if you want to see what kind of things I've been going over and really getting really excited for 2020. Now, as far as Geek Warz is concerned, again, if you're listening to this for the first time, which is kind of weird because I'm probably just posting it on Geek Warz, Geek Warz is actually kind of, my baby. So I've been here from the beginning, just basically putting out a lot of content as much as I can. I think every day, depending on what my day is like, I could be putting a couple memes out, anything from that to, videos, news items, all kinds of stuff, right? So what I want to know is from all our people who actually been coming, because we actually had a bunch of people just basically join up recently. This is your chance to make your voice heard. So I've been asking this for a while. So if you have an opinion, what would you like to see more of on Geek Warz? So, for example, a lot of people say, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing some more podcasts on here. So basically, if people who are doing podcasts, kind of like what I'm doing right now, but probably on a much better version of it, much more high scale, do that. Now, also, a bunch of my friends actually said, hey, we kind of like your blog posts. For those who don't know, I sometimes put the occasional blog post out there, just putting it in writing, something you can read at your leisure, and just giving maybe a review of a movie, or just talking about a TV show that just came out, things of that nature. So people have been really liking that, apparently, just from word of mouth, people have been telling me. So if you like podcasts, if you like blog posts, let me know, because again, that's the kind of thing that, I kind of want to make sure I'm giving you what you want. You ever see that movie Joe Dirt, when he's in the desert talking to the fireworks salesman? He says, it's not what you like, it's what the consumer likes. So I just basically dated myself on that movie, I guess, but whatever, I don't care. I'm the chic of geek, I can do what I want. Anyway, one other thing that I was going to just say out there, and I'm going to put this out there for the guys out there who are the regulars out there in the Geek Warriors world. One of my goals this year is also to have guest team-ups, if you want to call it that. If you're familiar with the term from comic books, that's pretty much when two superheroes get together for just for a one-off issue or something like that, or a story arc, and that's a team-up, and that's it. Well, basically, what I'm going to say, if anybody's out there and basically showing up for a team up, let me know. What I mean by that is kind of like how we're talking right now. I'm just having a discussion about what I'm doing, and every once in a while I'll just throw out a topic. And a lot of the geeks out there really like that, because geeks like to talk. In most cases, I've never met a geek that doesn't like to talk about the stuff they like, whether it be anime, whether it be sci-fi, wrestling, comics, video games, board games, all the Dungeon and Dragon people out there, or Magic the Gathering people, whatever. A lot of people just like to talk about what they're doing and what's going on out there and give their opinions, right? So if you're interested on that, you can reach out to me and we can go off that way, because I already got a couple of guys in mind who are regular contributors who I think just are not doing themselves justice. I think a lot of talented guys out there, a lot of really in the know guys who I think can really contribute to a conversation, whether it's just saying, hey, this is what I like, or hey, I hated this about this and that and that. I just think the conversation is really worth having, right? So if I don't reach out to you first, I'm going to say for 2020, my goal is to encourage everyone out there who's listening, if you're interested and within reasonable distance and things of that nature, let me know. I have no problem teaming up, but probably just have to work around my schedule pretty much. So that's it, man. I mean, that's about all I've got to say today about, what's going on with the Sheik of Geek this year in 2020. Again, it's really not a situation where I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to make broad stroke changes and I'm about to quit my job and be that 8-year-old YouTuber. But don't get me wrong, it'd be kind of cool. But I just want to be that consistent guy, right? So that's pretty much my goal. If you want to say that's my goal, my whole overall thesis here is I'm going to keep trying to do my best to do what you guys say I do well, and try to stay away from the stuff that just doesn't seem to work. So if you have any concerns or questions, feel free to reach out to me via, obviously the Geek Warz page. If you know me personally, of course, obviously you know how to reach me that way, but there we go. So spread the geek gospel out there, ladies and gents. Like I said, if you are on Geek Warz right now, please let other people know about it as well. You can also invite them to be members. They can search for Geek Warz on Facebook, which again is Geek Warz. It's WARZ, like zebra. And we can go from there. So until next time, this is Rico, your Sheik of Geek. I'm going to keep doing what I do. You keep doing what you do. And like I always tell people, so let it be written, so let it be geeked.